This is going to be a gameplay and review of Scars Above from my opinion, my experiences with the game, just looking at the controls, the graphics, the sound, how is it to play, is it fun, is it not, all of that. So let's get into it. Right off the bat, as you enter the game and you gain control of your character for the first time, you'll notice that the graphics actually look quite cool and the controls feel really nice. It feels nice to like walk around. Everything looks good. I have no complaints right off the bat. One thing I gotta say is that the voice acting in this game is absolutely superb. I really enjoyed listening to the characters. It felt like they were real people and it was done really well. It wasn't just like half-assed and just like, just there for the sake of being there. They took the voices in this game super seriously.
You need to find a way to kickstart the process with around 500,000 volts.
The way you interact with objects in the game is actually quite cool as well. There's so many different ways to like, engage with different things, like where you have to hover and press E on different locations and things to access new items, or even for crafting or different like quests and things that kind of make it a little bit more intuitive with like the puzzle design. It's not too crazy, but it's also not boring. Again, the graphics of this game look absurdly beautiful. The effects of just looking out the spaceship here, seeing Earth down there, this megahedron thing, the alien giant thing in the sky or in the atmosphere outside of Earth, it's surreal. I like it. It looks so cool. Even the cinematics are quite cool, but sometimes I did find that they bugged out because this is not the first time I've played this game, but this is the first time I've actually seen the cinematics actually work. So I don't know if that is an issue with like certain graphical settings within the game, because I did change some of them and then now the cinematics are working. So in case your cinematics are like just freeze framed or paused or broken, just know that there are cinematics. There's maybe just some settings you might need to change, or it's just a bug. Sometimes the controls, even though it like has free roam and it has sprint and everything, it can feel weird when you try to jump over things because your jump is not really a jump, it's a roll. And if you're at something that you can climb, which you would expect maybe I could just jump here, you have to be standing it right directly in front of it to be able to climb it. Sometimes if you're just a little too far, you'll roll into the wall instead, like this over here. Okay, wait, I climb perfectly now. But sometimes I've experienced where climbing just doesn't work the way I want it to, or it just like rolls instead. But other than that, the controls feel really nice, and on playing on mouse compared to like the consoles, the aiming is really great. But I mean, I haven't played the game on a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series XS because it's also available on those platforms too. But on PC, it feels great. I really like the art style of this game and how gloomy it feels. It really does feel like we're on some kind of alien planet, but still seems familiar but not familiar. But I mean, like, kind of crazy, like there's floating rocks and stuff in the distance, and there's a planet over there, and there's the giant megahedron. Do they have one on this planet too? How did I get here kind of example, right? So there's a lot going on in the story of this game. And you seem to be going a little bit crazy as well, because you're seeing apparitions of like another kind of alien race. I think it's another alien race, or maybe it's like the alien race that's helping us or something, or maybe they're even the enemies, who knows. Shortly after that trip, you actually end up playing the real game. The game really starts from the get-go. It is a Souls-like game, so you have a lot of these different things you'll find throughout the world, which are kind of save points, which will regenerate your health, your stamina, your ammo, all of that sort of stuff. But also, when you die, you'll respawn at the last one that you activated, and all the enemies that you have defeated will now come back to life. They'll all respawn. You do have two types of weapons in this game in terms of like, you have a melee sword over here, and you also get a gun, which is going to be your major form of combat within the game. But you do get different elemental types for your gun. The ones that I know about are fire, electric, ice, and poison. Now, while the game doesn't seemingly have a leveling system, it's more of like a knowledge point system where you see these purple things here. You can get this from scanning enemies for the first time, or these little cube things that also have this purple kind of icon, and this will give you knowledge and start to increase a little purple bar on the left side of your screen that basically counts as a level, which will unlock you an ability point to use for abilities that you can unlock. Throughout the game, you'll find various different types of plants that you can interact with. Most of these will actually be a source of ammo for your weapons. Like this one is galvanic extract. This is actually going to be ammo for your electric shooting gun. Once you have your gun, this will be your main form of combat throughout the game, right? So you obviously have your dodge rolling as a spacebar to dodge attacks, but you also have to keep in mind this is linked with your stamina, so you can't be spamming dodge roll all the time. You can see here five rolls and that's it. You have no more stamina to roll again. So you got to time your rolls really well, because sometimes your enemies, especially in the harder difficulties of the game, are going to really hurt. So here's like your first kind of enemy that you'll encounter, and you'll see here elemental stuff makes a huge difference, right? This one has a water drop on its head, which means right now it's in water, means it has a weakness to anything that you use that is like, works against water. For example, we're using an electric gun. And if you couple it with the wet combo there, it does extra damage. But you can also shoot the projectile out of its face and do even more damage by, taking an advantage of the weakness there. Now you can see here, because I got hit with that thing, I have a toxicity bar at the bottom of my screen. And if that fills up, I start taking like toxic damage over time. The game will also feature several types of puzzles in the game that are not so complicated. The game's very linear in a way that you unlock like one area at a time, and you have to solve all the different things to move on to the next area and progress, through kinds of like stages, I would say. It's a very adventure stage-based kind of game, featuring different enemies in different regions that you have to encounter. And through all these different areas and regions, you need to find these cubes to gain experience so that you can get your ability points that we're talking about. We're almost about to unlock our first ability, and then I'll go talk about the talents and the abilities that you can unlock. Here's some more enemies. That one's an explosive one, and these are the normal spiders that attack you. It's also quite immersive and helpful with the game, like when you scan enemies that you defeat for the first time, it'll actually give you advice on the best way to defeat them. Like some of them will say that their skin is weak to fire, and others will say like there's an explosive part on its back that you need to utilize. In here, we just unlocked our first ability point by finding another cube. So if we open up our inventory and we go to the ability section over here, you'll see here we have two modes. We have engineering abilities and we have xenobiology. So engineering will be like your batteries for your gadgets that you can use over and over, and you will unlock different forms of gadgets like a personal body shield and some crazy other stuff. But one of the best talents I recommend grabbing early on is probably something like where you can reload 50% faster, which is really nice. Honestly, overall, a lot of the talents that are represented here are something that you probably are going to want to unlock at one point or time. None of them seem really like unwanted because they are all big increases in different ways. I like that. And they're all split up in tiers. So this is tier 1, here's tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, as you can see. The game sounds, the atmospheric kind of just feelings are really gross, and it works really well at, really painting the environment that you're in. So I really like the sounds of the game. It makes it feel alive and creepy and gloomy and just all just gross and stuff, which actually works for how the game plays. You're also able to switch to any of your weapons at any time. As you can see here, it kind of reminds you of something like Genshin Impact with all the different elements. But different enemies are weaker to different elements, and they do different things. Like you can see at the top of that one head, it's burning alive. That one's using a toxic attack on me. We can always burn something like this, and then swap to electric and start shooting it like that to play the game how you want to play it. I like how they've done that. They've made it feel intuitive in a way that's not crazy, but also allows you to experience and play in the style that you wish to play in. One of my favorite things about the game is that the harder monsters or the bosses actually have weak points that you can utilize to beat them. However, they're not such a walk in the park. As a game that's supposed to be difficult, it will be difficult. Now, this isn't actually a boss. This is just a harder than usual enemy. Now, you see it has an orange thing on its chest. That is a weak point that you can shoot, and if you set them on fire, they will be a lot more immune to taking damage. You just have to make sure you get them, because they will often use attacks the entire time and hit you all the time. So let's go ahead and try dodge all of these attacks here. We just got to get it to stand up. There we go. It's on fire. Now that it's on fire, you see it's taking major damage, and we just shoot in the face for another weakness attack, and boom, the thing's down. I love doing that in this game. You also have the ability in the game to use things to your advantage, like, in the environment. Like here's another boss, right? You can use this thing here and set him on fire, and with the environment, you can take him out easily without actually even having to fight him. So make sure you look at your environment and you play according to how the quickest way is to take out that monster. If you feel like you don't have enough ammo because you're on a harder difficulty, or you feel like you're just going to die and you want to make this boss die before you, using things like that is going to make it super helpful. And I like that we have the choice to play smarter and take out bigger monsters like they're a piece of cake, which is fun. But do believe me, there are harder monsters and bosses within the game. In some cases, you will actually be able to craft directly on your missions. Like here, I am on the ice, I'm able to immediately craft my cryo launcher, which is quite cool. So as you need new weapons or different gadgets, you'll be able to get them to pass the new obstacle or puzzle that is thrown in front of you. And as always, they do work with the environment. So like you can freeze the water here of these carnivorous kind of worms that will eat you alive if you're in the water there. So in order to avoid those in sections like this, you can use ice. But this also goes, in fact, with enemies. You can freeze enemies in place. Like here, you can see I just froze this enemy and he's stuck in place. And this works for the bigger enemies too. And then you can get like a nice big combo on them by shooting them in the face while they're just, still. I really like the intuitivity of the weapons within the game. Overall, I think the game is incredibly fun. The bosses are scary, intimidating, and also like they want to smack me around. But you can make use of different weapons and tools to beat them. Like freezing this dude on the spot here doesn't look like he has any weak points, but you can just, oh, he's even blocking. He's an evil bastard. You also don't get too many heals within the game. Like I've only got 2 at this point, and they do respawn when you go to like those respawn points. But trust me, in a harder difficulty, this is going to be tremendously difficult. I'm actually playing on the easiest difficulty right now for reference. Overall, I think the game is incredibly fun. I've played through it to this section at least 4 or 5 times now because I've had so many technical difficulties with my recording program, which made my footage come out horribly the first 3 times, unfortunately. But now that it's working perfectly, I got to play the game, and I have enjoyed it every single time I've played it. I want to explore more. I want to see what more it has to offer. What kinds of puzzles it throws at me, what types of enemies, how many challenges. I know I'm playing on easy, but like it's enjoyable. It's fun. If you want to play it casually, it's great, and it's perfect for that. If you want to play it like a really hardcore Souls game, you can do that too. The game is currently available on PC on Steam. It's on PlayStation 5, it's on Xbox Series X and S. And there is a link in the description down below that you can click to support me if you did like this review and video. But other than that, that is my gameplay and review of Scars Above. I hope you guys enjoyed the video nonetheless, and thank you so much for watching.